Park Ridge, New Jersey, who are, well, tuned into one another. Their songs are folk, jazz, rock, country western, and even classical. If you haven't heard the Roches, now is your chance. Producer Amber Edwards met them after a concert at Princeton's Richardson Hall.
When you read reviews of concerts by the Roches, certain words keep reappearing. Quirky, eccentric, and eclectic seem to be the most popular. Maybe the critics are just being lazy and unimaginative, but the Roches are hard to describe. They don't sound like anybody else in the music business, but their material incorporates just about every style of music you can think of. Pop, country western.
Oh, you don't get no spending cash if you don't scrub that kitchen floor. You ain't gonna rock and roll no more, yakety yak. If you go with that fella, forget about us. As far as I'm concerned,
rock and roll.
he can't help it, he's got to look away. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah.
And even a little Handel, a cappella.
Hallelujah, hallelujah.
You know, some people say, I only like this sort of music. I only like that sort of music. Well, we're very varied in our types of music. Every song is very different with us. We don't have like a style that you might be able to define.
Suzy is the youngest Roche and the one who does most of the talking on stage. When she joined her older sisters in 1977, Maggie, the eldest, and Terry had been performing as a folk duo and were about ready to call it quits. The new trio took to the streets performing Christmas carols and soon moved into Greenwich Village folk clubs where they developed a loyal following. Their first album was a collection of original, intelligent, ironic takes on contemporary life, accompanied by their own acoustic guitar. And that early material still sounds fresh and sharp.
One in Louisiana, one who travels around. One of them mainly stays in Heartthrob Town. I am not their main concern, they are lonely too. I am just an arrow passing through.
It's completely from personal experience, the songs. Maybe not literal, but heartfelt. Absolutely.
I don't know how to write from another perspective, you know. I've seen where, I've read things where people have talked about that they can write, you know, a script maybe from somebody else's point of view, but that's a talent that I don't have at this point.
All of the Roches write and arrange, although on stage it is Maggie who controls the band, their synthesizer. The magic of electronics means the Roches have total control over their accompaniment, so it never overpowers their fragile, intricately woven vocals.
We've all been engrossed in these machines, and it feels like it makes it possible for us to continue in a weird way. We can't imagine being without them at this point.
Without abandoning their folk roots, the Roches have eagerly embraced synthesizers, electric drums, and all the accoutrements of contemporary popular music. Their evolution disappointed some die-hard folkies, but the Roches seem constitutionally incapable of doing the same thing for too long.
We are endlessly intrigued by what we create. We can't seem to become unfascinated by it.
Yeah.
There's really no reason to be, even against all the odds, you know, the struggling, the insecurity about the future and all of that. What happens is we just start doing another song and get all involved in it, and we can't stop. We're just doing it.
Doing it with your siblings can be magical and dangerous too. As children, Maggie and Terry would harmonize together, leaving Suzy and their brother David, also a musician, to try and compete. When the three sisters began harmonizing, they and audiences were mesmerized by the ravishing sound of three genetically similar voices in perfect blend. They also learned that working together professionally is not always easy when you're related.
Well, we've had to learn how to communicate among the three of us in a very vital way, you know, because our livelihoods depend on it. And, you know, there's a lot of natural built-in landmines of things that just being who we are in our families, we can get in each other's way.
Because the Roches put so much of their personal experience into their music, and because they are sisters, what we see and hear on stage is a life's work in its truest sense. There's very little that separates art from life for the Roches.
The Roches will be performing at the Paper Mill Playhouse in Millburn on Monday, July 22nd. Coming up a little later, the star of Flashdance takes to the stage at Rutgers. But first, an old American tradition continues, adding a new generation's artistic imprint to public buildings.